Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far with the absolutely phenomenal weekend of Call of Duty that we just had at the Stage 5 Major. A lot of pros are very excited indeed about the future of competitive Call of Duty on LAN, and Scump is one of those players, certainly implying he is not going anywhere. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. I'm really upset the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, the midnight tweet out right here, director of content over at the Rokkr side of course, formerly of OpTic, knows how to do that type of stuff. And well, I thought this is pretty incredible, the watch party that the Rokkr guys did in Minnesota, I imagine. And yeah, just the energy in here, I'm sure absolutely electric after completing the Ultra Thunderdome reverse sweep that they managed to do in that series. And well, this of course was some of the aftermath. But what was very interesting, a lot of people have been discussing about this, is the fact that after they won this tournament in the most ridiculous fashion ever, like this is, well, the first like proper tournament feel that we have had in a very long time. Because even last season when we did have LANs, like I went to the London, it was like, what, February 2020, before everything kicked off, the London CDL, you know, it wasn't even a major, right? It was just a home series. That's what they used to call them. Because only 8 teams would attend. Not all the teams were there. I think like OpTic and Dallas played in the finals, but there was no FaZe, right? So you didn't really get to see like how that matchup could have been. This was like a proper major tournament for the first time we've had really since Champs 2019. Fans in attendance on a LAN there. All the teams are there and well, trying to win the thing. And Rokkr win it in unbelievable fashion in Game 9, which we never used to have back in the day in this crazy reverse sweep. Now, Game 9's, you know, certainly they have like some bad rap, right? The 1-0 advantage that doesn't exist for the winner's side, certainly a topic we discussed yesterday, and also some people prefer double best of 5s, but when you get a banging series like this, it goes all the way to Game 9, get the reverse sweep in, that does kind of, you know, prove its utility to some degree in that format. So obviously this is a phenomenal tournament. You can see right here, like the angle of this shot just shows that not only was this one of the best tournaments we've had in a very long time, if not in all time really, in Call of Duty history, but also it was a very big deal in terms of how everything was done. But well, as you can see right here, this is a pretty incredible, well, image, but well, after they win the entire thing, there's no trophy that comes out on the stage. I don't understand, like this is a CDL run tournament. Like last year they had an excuse in the sense that, okay, like it was the home series and therefore the home series was put on by a certain team and therefore it's that team's, well, it's that team's discretion effectively as to whether they get a trophy or what trophy they decide to get. But this was like the proper CDL Stage 5 Major, like run by the CDL themselves where they want to do it. And well, there's clearly, well, there was no trophy, right? They didn't lift a trophy after the fact. I have no idea why, like why can't they afford a trophy? Surely you've got to figure that out now. Like I can understand it for these online tournaments, if you're not going to send them a trophy or whatever, they can make their own one. I don't really mind. But you know, for this proper, like that crowns off the event, right? The team wins the event, they come up on the stage, they do the interviews, they lift the trophy, like back in the day for champs, they, you know, you give them the massive check or whatever. Doesn't really seem to be happening anymore, right? And some more discussion about this, as Podov says, for me, United, everything this weekend was so good. Saw CDL, well, optimum viewership once again. It was just fantastic. And you know, new rookie, of course, and Standy winning an event. We need a trophy though. That's what solidifies events for the org and players who win. It just feels awkward with that one. So yeah, was kind of surprised about that. And yeah, Raw the Monster, who does some of the thumbnails for Octane, maybe all the thumbnails for Octane. Great stuff over there. Imagine reverse sweeping one of the best teams in the world in the grand finals and not even getting a trophy, especially in a best of 9. So it's certainly something I hope they can figure out going forwards. There was also this side of things, right? The fact that Maven and Merc were just casting that unbelievable series from their living room. Just so hard to get like into the vibe, I guess, of the crowd, and also like get on like terms with the crowd, right? Because you know, a good caster will rile up the crowd and get them ready to go, and doesn't necessarily work in the same way from home. So certainly a couple of things they could fix, but hopefully champs can kind of rekindle some of the spirit that we had this past weekend, because of course it was a phenomenal one, no doubt. I'm pretty sure these were the highest viewership that we've had this entire season. Seattle surged in 2 of these games up against OpTic. Of course OpTic are going to be the most viewed ones. Toronto peaked at just under 115,000 viewers. Dallas OpTic peaked at over 110,000 viewers, and well, Seattle OpTic was also a crazy series. Toronto Minnesota, the grand finals, actually had some pretty good viewership as well. All things considered, not a bad tournament with champs just around the corner. Atlanta FaZe, yeah, to me, what a banging series that was. 65 odd thousand as well. So not bad at all, right? It definitely felt like LAN brought some of the energy back, and not maybe where we'd like it to be, but obviously there's still room for improvement in the rest of the season. And of course, like, we've had this online league for so long at this point, there's been a lot of frustrations about it, as the flank say right here, as Go says, to think Karma and X may not have retired if online never happened, right? You do have to wonder what would have happened, right, if there wasn't online last season, because Karma retired about, I don't think it was maybe start of May, start of June, during last year's Modern Warfare season, when, I mean, the Seattle team was absolutely atrocious, and understandably for Karma to step away at that point, right, didn't really have the, well, didn't really want to continue playing competitive Call of Duty at that level, especially given the frustrations of online. And I'm sure a lot of players have thought something relatively similar. Like Aix, I guess, is technically retired, even though, like, I'm not sure Aix ever technically retired, because he was trying to play challenges at the start of this season. That didn't really work out, so not exactly sure what he even does nowadays. But yeah, players like that, just legend of the COD scene, if online never have happened, like, would these guys still be around? That is is certainly an interesting question mark. And some of the other veteran players, I'm sure, have felt similar things over the last couple of seasons, right? When you've had this difficult online stuff that you can't really connect with the fans in the same way. This weekend, I'm sure, brought that back for the fans, but also from the pro players as well, to really, realize again why they, love playing competitive Call of Duty at a high level, right? The fans, the interactions, the, what a great scene I think we do have. And maybe some of these guys wouldn't have stepped away, or of course, like the online stuff. We also talked about some players that suffered during the online era as well in terms of their individual performance, that maybe perform a lot better on LAN. That these types of things may not have happened if the online stuff never happened. And well, this is what Scump has to say about it yesterday. Man, I needed that event. Some sort of normalcy was so needed for myself and the community. Online COD just isn't it. Hopefully we can continue to have events like that, because it was absolutely lit. So Scump loving it. Of course, they came top 3 at this tournament. The OpTic Chicago guys, their best result of the entire season so far. Of course, they've still got a chance to try and turn things around. If they beat the subliners in winners round 1, they'll play FaZe in winners round 2. A FaZe that obviously are going to be scary, but certainly seem beatable, right? FaZe have lost 3 out of the last 4 series. One of those was to OpTic. So if there's ever a time to beat them, of course, they're going to go incredibly hard back to the drawing board here, and I'm sure going to do a lot of preparation in getting ready for the World Championship. But still, look, OpTic have a decent chance to get the job done there. If they do, then that is probably going to be the key to them making a deep run at the World Championship. But as he says, like, online COD just isn't it. We played online COD for quite a long time at this point, and it's just nowhere near as good from so many different perspectives. Not only are the results kind of questionable, right, and it was also kind of strange in a way that you've got some teams that are just so much worse online than on LAN. For example, like Seattle Surge. Online, you just knew how the series was going to go. They got completely bodied, which is kind of interesting in a way, right? Because you'd think, okay, maybe online has more inconsistencies than LAN, but if anything, a LAN environment with the crowd there in attendance, and you've got all these other factors coming into play, the pressures at play. You've got playing at LAN, like the energy of the crowd and the momentum of the other team is like amplified to some degree. So if anything, you see slightly more upsets than you would on LAN than online, because the start of stage 5 and the end of stage 4, online COD was so predictable. You knew that the bottom teams were just going to demolish them. Like the underdog thing that we have that goes on for the breaking point where we do the predictions for the games. The underdog was getting absolutely no points at all throughout the entire season because everything was so predictable. But towards the end, like, LAN is just so much better for so many different reasons, but also because you get more interesting storylines and upsets. And Scump's like, look, can we please head back to this for future seasons? But it's also good to see that, look, Scump, the fact of the matter is, the last couple of seasons or the last few months, really, we've been talking about, okay, is Scump going to step away at some point? Is he going to consider, like, the retiring, going to content or something? Does not seem that's the case, because as he continues with, as Kevin Skill says, look, that event too, better prime Call of Duty days, there is still life in the scene. Oh yeah, says Scump in the reply. And also this one as well, like, first time I've heard Let's Go OpTic in quite a while. Everything comes disconnected, says Scump, when it's all behind a screen. Being in front of the green wall again was an absolute blessing, no doubt. And Maven does say to Slasher right here, because there was some discussion, like, look at Nicky D, that being classic in a LAN environment. He was absolutely throwing up against a LAN to FaZe. And, hopefully we never have to do this online BS again, says Maven. So who knows what will happen next season, whether they will decide to keep going down the route of some online league matches. Hopefully we get as much play on a LAN environment as we possibly can, with fans there in attendance as well, all that good stuff. And also I hope they start the season a bit earlier, right? Because that's also some of the complaints that we've seen from the pros, the fact that, look, the game comes out at the end of October, start of November, and there's like 2.5 months until we even like have a tournament in the game, which means that already just a couple of months after the start of the season, things are starting to get relatively predictable. And by the end of the season, especially like the online stuff that we saw for stage 4, stage 5, you could predict exactly how things were going to go, because you knew which teams were better online and which teams were absolutely dreadful online as the bottom 4 that we're looking in a bit more detail here later today. But if the season started a bit earlier, right, if we maybe had like something in December sometime, then like we used to in the Black Ops 4 season, for example, start of December, there's a tournament, it's already kicking off, and that leads into a fantastic rest of the season, because right at the start of the season, things are so unpredictable and crazy, and also it's a great time to coincide with when the game comes out and people are interested in the game, and it's still popping off on Twitch, like regular multiplayer and this type of stuff. And also if you could drop a league player at a similar time, I'm kind of just kind of wishful thinking at this point, I guess, of what could happen going forwards. Also some wishful thinking stuff. I wish, like, I think this is a good point here from Kevy Skills, like this is the match right here. I wish there was a way that it'd be slightly easier to find the games, because especially on mobile, when you go to search for the COD League, it does not make it so easy for you to actually find the game. As Merc says right here, when he goes in his desktop, he can see it relatively easily, like the latest video that they have, but also like a live now this stream. But it just could be more obvious, right, where, okay, people are searching for the stream, it's somewhat difficult to find which one actually is the live now. Like, maybe they should do something on the thumbnail itself, put like a live, I don't know, something like that, so people actually can see the thumbnail and know that that is the one that's live. And YouTube could probably do a better job as well in terms of how they present the entire thing, but certainly something we'd like to see going forwards. Wanted to mention this as well, given we were talking about the World Championship. These are the early odds, and FaZe, despite being massive favourites for this past event, are still favourites for champs, which I do understand. Like, I think most people would probably consider, okay, yes, FaZe, they also have the #1 seed, so there's that benefit that they have going in. But Ultra just behind them, then the Rokkr. So interesting to see this, I guess, because Ultra do have the bye in the and Rokkr still have to beat the Dallas Empire if they want to even face Ultra in the lower side of that bracket. So I guess that makes sense. OpTic just behind them, then Dallas. So these top 5 teams are certainly right up there. New York have well, very little chance it seems right now, but they are still in the winners bracket, I suppose. And then Los Angeles Thieves and Florida Mutineers down it on the losers side. And just to finish off with some of these LAN communications between the OpTic guys during that series against Seattle, when some of these crucial moments that OpTic managed to clutch up in, which was so crucial at getting them the top 3 placement at this major. But very much intrigued to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
That was everything, bro. That was everything, 25, you guys gotta go. Yo, top left peeking. Still top, right? Still top. 15 seconds. Nice! Go, Bruce! Go! Let's get it. Yo, Nick's inner weak. Inner, one top.
Inner dead.
Nice, let's get top.
I'll team top.
Let's all push back together.
Wait, really one shot. Right side top.
Set the volume up.
Nice. Go!
Get it.
Nice, let's get statue or tank.
He's not pitching.
He's just fine.
Bomb. One shot, absolute in the cube.
Relax, man.
Yep.
Got him. Let's go.
Nice!
Bruce!
Tim, one shot. In Matt, Preston. Dead. Another one front red. Tim, one shot. I know.
Guys, I'm in the base.
Okay, listen. One's by bomb, one's boxes, and one's front red. Dill's behind them all.
Behind him.
Dill's behind them all.
Push on.
He's still there. Last guy Q. Play together. Last guy Q. Last guy Q.
I'm with you, Seth.
Last guy Q.
Watch, pushing.
Let's go!